Alright, here we are back at the Daytona project. I've got those blocks holding her up. And there's one just barely solid enough spot on the other side to hold it up by right before it gets to complete rust. Well, I guess it isn't really all that solid, but it's good enough to hold the car up anyway. It's been doing it. I've got another block under there, under an actual solid spot when I put it down. So I got her picked up off the hickey now, and I've got it re-rigged. So the rigging I did this time was, instead of going across the bottom where it gets in the way of the motor, I rigged it right through the strut towers and right up into there, into that shackle, and then through that other strut tower on the other chain. So that's holding. Let's make sure. Twang the chain somewhat. Yep, that's tight. Good. All chains are tight on there. She's holding up. All I mainly got to do right now is just take up a little bit of space. I got 6 inches or so in between the engine and the firewall, and that needs to come back. Whoop, I forgot this is loose. It's suspended, so it moves when I push on it, which I don't like. So there that be. And basically I just kind of, this is the pull chain for the crane doohickey, not the support chain. Yeah, these Harbor Freight things are actually fairly adept. That's a 1-ton chain fall hoist, and you got it hooked up, and it picks it up, puts it down. Anyways, always pick up and put down safely and whatnot. So what I want to do is go hitch up the Dakota yonder to the front of this automobile. Well, actually to the front of this, and push the frame back 6 inches without pushing it back more than 6 inches, because if I do that, it's going to hit the distributor and ruin that, and then I'll have to do something about that. Probably change computers, because I don't know if I'm going to find one. Well, I'll find one of those distributors, but I don't know if I'm going to feel like changing it. So that's that. And I'm thinking I might just take the power steering pump off of here completely and find a shorter belt. I'll get a Napa and I'll take the measurement of, it'll still tighten up. I'll take the measurement of how long the belt needs to be, and then just get a shorter one. Oh, maybe I can't do that because, oh, shoot. That's not good. I don't think that'll work. I don't think I can do that. Unless I put another idler up here somewhere, or near where the steering pump was. Well, we'll just have to make room. So the next thing I got to do too is over yonder here. Once I get this car moved forward slightly enough, then these motor mounts are going to have to get extended slightly up, like 1.5 inches, and then forward 6 to 8 inches, depending on exactly how far this needs to go. And I can't quite get a good measurement because I'm terrible at measuring things, but 6 to 8 inches is about how far she's going to have to go. Oh yeah, here's my ugly tow bar hookup. I mean, it worked. I was able to pull the vehicle at low speed around the parking lot. I don't know if it'll pull it with the car on top of it, but it sure did pull it without the car on top. And these are the factory tow hooks from GM. So I don't know if those are any good, but they look pretty good. Look fairly solid. Hey, the tow hook's busted off. Well, they looked solid. What the heck? There's the other motor mount in there. And the same thing's going to have to happen to that. That's got to move forward too. Well, that's it for that for now. Join us again later when we probably break something else this time, but I did manage to move the car forward on the frame successfully 6 inches. So now I need to move the engine forward 6 inches, which I have now, plenty of room. I'm going to need to cut out part of that cross member up there because that's going to be in the way. And I don't want to cut the whole thing out, just cut the lip off of it so it's not bumping into the motor. I've got just barely enough room to change the distributor cap and the rotor, and the distributor if I have to. Hopefully not. It's going to be forward a little bit anyway, but I've got at least a good 6 inches to move the engine forward, so that once I do that, I can move the car forward again. And then that should be real dang close. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get within like an inch or two. It doesn't really matter if it's perfect, because it's sitting friggin', 1.21 gigawatts up off the ground. As long as it gets in fairly competent aligned, because this is basically just got to come back 6 inches. Which means the car has to go forward 6 inches, or the frame has to go backward 6 inches. Actually, what I've been doing is I've got the car rigged up, and I hooked the engine hoist up to the back again. I just picked the car up and just roll the wheels by hand, because I pulled this frame around enough to free up the brakes before I started working on it over here. So that works. I got the steering locked, you see there. I got a clamp around it. I got the piece of all thread through it. Oh, I need to get a helicoil to fix that stupid starter bolt hole. There's not enough room on the back end of it to stick a nut on it, so I got to actually do it sort of rightish. I tried JB welding the hole, but it didn't stick. Well, I mean, it stuck, but it wasn't strong enough. So the next move is going to be, I've got the rigging up here ready to disconnect, and I can reconnect it when I need to and still have the same balance. I'm going to rig through this shackle here and everything else. Anyways, what was I just talking about? Oh, yeah. So I'm thinking I take this rigging off of here, and then I just use my engine levelly thing back here. Oh, we're back down on the blocks, by the way. Uh-oh, whoops. I wonder what that crunch was. Shoot. Well, I guess that's in the way. Whoops. I wonder if it's in the way on the other side, too. No, because something's in the way. Whatever. I mean, it ain't going to hurt anything. That stuff's probably going to get cut out anyway, because it's all rotted out. Like this. You can see you can see inside the car from the outside underneath. Whoops. Oh well. Well, that's why we're doing this, though, because I didn't really feel confident in driving it anymore with that much rust. But with this thing up off the ground like this, I can just weld new metal underneath it and not have to jack it up every time. Shoot, I can change the oil. I can stick and I've tried this before, I can put a 5-gallon bucket under there, just under the engine, and change the oil. That's awesome. Now, here's an interesting thing. This allegedly rust-proof copper-clad brake line, it sold to me as copper nickel on Amazon. The parts that I painted don't rust. The parts that I did not paint rust immediately in contact with water. So that copper cladding does absolutely nothing for it. So buy real copper nickel, or be prepared to paint it or something. I gotta get me a little GMC sticker to stick underneath that. That'd be kind of cool, because that's what's under it now. I need to move the car off to the starboard side. And it looks to me like you can see where the steering shaft is down there with the all thread through it. And then you can see, I'll try to point it out with my light if I can, right there, it's where the steering shaft from the wheel comes out. So that's not going to be too much of a jump, and it's also not going to be too much of an obstruction. It's almost like this car was made to do this. I keep saying that. Of course, I'm going to run into a giant pain in the ass soon. Well, actually, the whole thing's been giant pain in the asses. Pains in the ass, pain asswardly, whatever. Anyways, it's going to bite me in the ass sooner or later, hard. But until that point, let's have some fun. Oh, I wonder if I could just put the belt the opposite direction around this, or just take this tensioner completely off of the system, or idler, and just use only the tensioner here. That might do. Yeah, just run the belt around that way, the same way as it's running, and then up over the alternator down. Yeah, okay, cool, that'll work. Yeah, then I can take the power steering pump off because that's in the way of something. It's in the way of the steering gear. And then I can, oh, I'm losing my brain here. Come on, come back. Oh, I can take the power steering pump off, hook an electric motor up to it, set it up so that it's like speed proportional. So the slower you go, the faster it spins it. That way, it'll also get a little bit better, very slightly better gas mileage. Electric power steering, neat. At least that's the theory. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm sure I've got enough little electric motors that'll work on this thing, 12-volt motors, that I'm willing to try it. So that'll be neat. All right, so yeah, I'm getting kind of tired. I don't want to fart around with this thing too much when I'm this tired. Therefore, I shall go at it in the morrow. I shall see yins later.